Welcome to Group Dates and Hot Takes. I'm Sampy.
I'm Christy.
Let's talk about Bachelor in Paradise. Hello, everybody. We are finally back for episode 12. Just episode 12 because we have election day. And I guess election coverage is more lucrative for ABC than Bachelor in Paradise. So we go back.
They don't want to be the only network not covering the results.
Yeah, that would be a real shame for them. So we get stiffed here. Only get one episode this week, but it was a bit of a doozy.
I would say so. A pretty bonkers ending.
I'm not totally surprised it went there myself, but we can talk about that as we get closer to it.
I wanted to mention the Gabby and Eric breakup, which happened after we recorded last week.
Oh yeah, we should just go to recording every single day so we don't miss anything.
There's always something happening. Which I am not surprised they broke up. I know you're like so shocked.
Yeah, I mean, we all know very well that the chances of success on this show are very low. And even lower long term, but that's where we are as a franchise. So, is there any actual reasoning or information behind that? I mean, I feel like we were all a bit shocked that the whole blackface incident and everything surrounding all that stuff, the questions of a prior relationship, that none of that sunk them.
I mean, all of that might have sunk them, just delayed.
So you mean that they just decided to kind of go along with things, not rock the boat for the moment?
That's what I think. Give ABC their pseudo happy ending at after the final rose, and then just kind of quietly exit stage left a few weeks later.
So they couldn't wait until after Gabby was done with Dancing with the Stars?
See, that's the thing. If I were her, I would have waited, but I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's a little weird to me, because you'd think in order to keep the narrative going that they'd continue to play happy couple until she was finally eliminated from or won Dancing with the Stars, and then go from there. But no,
I'm not sure.
They just drifted apart. Was that the gist
supporting each other from afar was the quote.
Supporting.
Also, Jesse Palmer also gave some quote saying they're like working on things, whatever that means. But I still feel like they're done.
Yeah, not super surprising to me. I feel like it's even less surprising to me, just given that none of these people are on the show for the right reasons anymore.
No, we have left that behind probably like 10 years ago at this point.
Well, I think it just is getting worse and worse. And so, from my perspective, at least, I don't know if anybody out there agrees with me. There probably are people who agree with me, because I feel like this isn't really that much of a hot take, but that just everyone's just there for the clout and the screen time and all of that at this point. And so there's no pretending even at this point in time. I mean, Gabby just went on to Dancing with the Stars. Like, that's not something a normal person does.
Yeah, she's on the rise.
So it just feels like to me that everybody pretty much is trying to really accomplish that. Use time on the show as a springboard into as much celebrity as they can get their hands on.
I mean, might as well make money while you can. That's what we are all watching.
Yeah, well, that is a bummer.
Also, the reunion taped this past Friday, so the whole cast was out there in LA. And I just have to say that the reunion will probably be better than the entire season combined if they actually air everything that is rumored to have happened.
I doubt they will.
That would be a shame because there was some juicy stuff that happened.
Well, you know, we'll see. We'll see how much gets shoved into that little bit of airtime that we always get. I'm sure most of it will be something totally inconsequential, and they'll cut the rest of it. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. I guess we're going to keep that information close to our vest at this point. We're not going to spoil anything for anybody.
I mean, I don't know if people want to be spoiled or not.
All right. Well, I'll keep that on the DL. Then.
I mean, the information is out there. If you go to Reality Steve's Twitter page, there's a whole bunch of threads about what happened at the taping.
Yeah, you kind of get some friction with these groups of people.
Yep.
Hmm. Well, should we talk about this episode?
Yeah, but one last thing before that, we had a couple of responses to the episode on Instagram. XX Anna GXX said, "Still rubbed wrong by how Aaron treated Genevieve last week."
Yeah, I go back and forth with those two because they're pretty unstable.
That's an understatement.
And I kind of feel like they both take turns gaslighting each other emotionally.
Wow, big word there.
Look, I don't want to say that it's intentional, and maybe it doesn't go that far, but just how they interact with each other and how they spiral out of control. I think that it's not malicious, but I definitely do. It makes me uncomfortable too, and how Aaron acts sometimes, because he is such a bro's bro, and he doesn't really think about what he's saying a lot of the time, it seems like, and so he just kind of lashes out when it's not justified at all.
Yeah, he takes things a little too personally, and I don't feel like what Genevieve did warranted his response. It was a little over the top, and I feel like in this episode they kind of just like brushed past it by being like, "Oh, we're in love with each other," and just kind of swept that under the rug.
Yeah, I mean, neither of them seem like they're in a super healthy emotional place with themselves, but yeah, it's always a bummer to see that sort of stuff happen.
Yeah.
So, excellent observation.
And then Betty 19 said the episode was sweet and shocking and creepy.
Oh, I thought we had some creepy moments.
I think for me the creepy was Wells on the date with Michael and Danielle, just kind of popping up all the time. It was super weird to me.
Yeah, I could see that. For me personally, I thought that Katie was super creepy.
How so?
Oh, just look, we'll get to this very soon. Okay, if we go into the episode.
Oh, you mean Kate?
Yeah, sorry, Kate. Yes, Kate.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I
look forward to that explanation.
I've been scared by her this whole time. So, speaking of Kate, we start off this episode with Logan having some regrets.
I guess of not telling Kate how he felt.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even know what he was supposed to have said, unfortunately.
Really, just about anything would have been better than what he did, which was nothing.
Well,
now we did go over last week that he looked absolutely completely drunk, so I don't entirely blame him. But yeah, a little regret of not fighting hard enough to keep her from going on this date.
Yeah, we see Kate and Hayden return, and we learned from Kate, I guess we didn't quite see all the info that Hayden gave her last week, but apparently Hayden owns a company, which is very attractive to Kate.
Yeah, a company. It seemed like he owns a bunch of property.
Yes.
I mean, he paid 100 G's on cancer treatment for his dog.
I still can't believe that. That is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does like that. She does appreciate a wealthy man, even though I don't know if there's really anything else there.
No, it was just the money. I mean, she was pretty blatant about that. She even said she carried the date on her back, as in Hayden contributed nothing.
Except dreams of financial security.
Yes, also, I have this gripe that this happens all the time on this show. People come back from a date and everyone is like cheering, hugging, so shocked, like, oh, you guys are back. Like, what did you expect? They haven't even been gone that long.
It's all just part of creating an atmosphere.
It just seems so fake to me.
Look, you're a grizzled Bachelor Nation veteran, all right? You.
Oh, so it hasn't worn out for you yet.
Oh no, I've been having a terrible time. These past couple years have been real bad for me. No, I just think that as somebody not necessarily, I mean, partially related to your time with the franchise, but also partially related to kind of looking beyond the curtain, as it were, having a greater understanding of everything going on. I think that lends itself to a certain amount of jadedness, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of too. I'm too jaded.
Yeah, because you see X thing happen, you're like, oh, well, nobody would have just done that. The producers just made them do it to make things more exciting. And that's just your curse. Now, it's the curse of knowledge. And you can't escape it. It's just your lot in life now. And so we have to try to use that for good if we can. And that's why we do these episodes, is to cause a little good in the world after you've suffered so much.
We see Kate and Logan chatting, and
yeah, I end up so confused with her. Like, she doesn't want to have to guess what Logan's thinking, and I get that, but there's not very good communication.
No, because she's like steering the conversation to hopefully get what she wants out of him.
Mm-hmm.
which this time she's actually successful.
I mean, I wasn't sure she could pull it out of old melted Matthew McConaughey there.
I mean, he finally got there after some prodding.
I know, it's like eventually he's like, okay, gets down off of the fence. Well, I guess I don't want you to go on dates with other people.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought he may as well be apathetic. Which is, I'm like, that doesn't really work.
I think it's just his default state. is more on that side, particularly in potential like conflict and stuff. I think he goes in that direction more than go crazy and
yeah, he's pretty laid back.
He's very chill.
Yeah, Kate needs more than that. Kate's a lot more fiery, I think.
I don't know if I'd describe it as fiery.
I don't know, just like more like oomph.
Wow. Logan doesn't have oomph?
Not at the moment.
Well, I don't know.
But he mustered up enough here.
Yeah, mustered up enough to get a make out in the rain.
Yes, he said, I want you to be mine. She feels the same way, and I just had the sinister thought of like the producers having like a fake rain machine, but it seemed real.
Well, it is sort of the tropic type vibe, and you get a lot more rain in those types of circumstances. Though, look, I wouldn't put it past them to have a rain cannon atop the resort.
I mean, they have done it before in the show. So
yeah, that's right.
With Katie and somebody.
Katie to have it when they like came out of the hotel or resort or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was actually Katie and Greg.
Ugh. Don't get me started, okay? We need to get back to this episode, otherwise I'm gonna throw a fit. Yeah, so a great rain makeout, jumped in his arms, he carried her around the beach, everyone's
cheering.
It was all just so wonderful and magical.
For like a night.
And then the next morning, last night went great, so I'm gonna hang with the boys. Which was Logan's response to what happened the night before.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's rose ceremony day, so they're separated.
So they literally are not allowed to talk to each other.
From what I understand, yes, and Genevieve even tweeted that it's unfair that the boys get to hang out and have pool time all day while the girls are cooped up in their hot and sweaty rooms.
They don't have enough pools to like...
I think they're all like together-ish, so they want them all separated, which is why you see them like all hugging and everything when they walk in with the rose ceremony outfits on.
I see. I guess I didn't realize that.
I'm not sure why they keep them apart. Like, that's valuable time. They could be getting to know each other.
They don't want these people to have any more time than necessary, okay? You got to keep it to a minimum. Now, you don't know what will happen if you let them spend more time with each other.
And then we had one of my favorite segments of the episode where Kate is talking about having to foot the bill in relationships. She's tired of doing that. And she's talking about how Logan is 7 years younger than her. She's an adult, he's a boy. And also, Logan can't afford to work out at Equinox or take her on a trip. And he lives with 2 roommates.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and Equinox is a luxury gym. It looks like pretty much it's gonna run you about $200 a month in membership. There are some locations that it's more like $500 a month.
Wow.
Which is okay. So,
Like, how does she know he can't afford that?
because he has 2 roommates.
Okay.
And he's 7 years younger. I mean, what the signs are all there. I just don't understand why being able to afford luxury gym membership is the bar here.
I couldn't figure that out either. She keeps repeating this phrase, "My sister in Christ, I'm 33 years old."
Mm-hmm. I did appreciate the editing of that they did. Because
Yes.
they like overlaid all of them together at the same time. She said it like 7 times or something like that. A ridiculous amount of time. So this is what I thought was creepy, was this whole thing, because if you were to have a guy going around saying this type of stuff about a woman and all that, I feel like a lot of people would have issues with that. But Kate is over here just complaining to high heavens about, how she wants a man with provider energy, and just like she couldn't possibly bring herself to be with a man who can't afford luxury gyms and exotic trips. And it's like, what, this is so reductive and again kind of creepy in that she's like just assigned like a monetary value to him, and that's just about it. Like, I deserve to be taken care of. I mean, what?
Yeah, she says she is done being the breadwinner. Once, like, she's capable of providing for herself, but she's done. She's tired.
You don't think that he's tired? like
She keeps saying Hayden is established.
Yeah, he seems kind of wealthy.
He has a mortgage and a brand.
Yeah, I like. Okay, so
what?
Great. I mean, yeah, those are nice things, but to make that be the end all be all, that was just a little creepy to me, because it's like, well, at the end of the day, does she really care about who she ends up with?
As long as they have money, that seems to be good enough for her.
Yep. So I don't know what our friendly listener was referring to when they were talking about creepy, but that I found that creepy.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that.
Because if you had a guy out there being like, "Oh man, I really just need a woman with like housewife energy," or just whatever you wanted to throw out there, like, that's just weird to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kate's really like bringing the villain energy. I was not expecting that when I saw her name on the cast list.
Yeah, well, I've been a little on edge about her this whole season, so I feel like I get more and more validated every episode. So this is kind of mean, but I'm going to say it anyways. Hayden looks to me like somebody who didn't have to really go through stuff to be wealthy. Like, it just doesn't show on his face. It's like the effort. It's too angelic and perfect and stress-free and all this. It's like, did you really struggle for what you have?
So you're saying he's like a trust fund kid or something?
I mean, this is all just horrible slander. And I have no idea. That's just kind of the vibe I get from him. I'm sure he's a wonderful man who just, doesn't really know when to filter himself, but
that's very generous of you.
Well, I'm trying to balance out the scales here
a compliment sandwich.
Trying to avoid litigation. No, I'm sure a lot of these characteristics are amplified or even eliminated by editing. It's just he talks about his dog an uncomfortable amount.
I mean, he spent so much money on it. He's got to get his money's worth.
Yeah, but that's the sort of thing where, like, when you talk about it that much, to me, it becomes, like, it's more about that you're so wonderful that you, and like, you have so much compassion and love that you spent $100,000 versus actually caring about the dog itself.
Yeah, it's more about bragging about the money you have to spend.
Right. It's like, I am so empathetic and compassionate, and I have so much love in my heart for this dog that I would not stop fighting no matter what. And, I was like, I'll do whatever it takes to get as many moments with Rambo as possible. You need $100,000 for all the surgeries and all the chemo, the dog chemo. Here's a blank check. Like, it seems like it's about that versus the actual dog. But let's not talk about that anymore. Let's talk about Genevieve and Aaron.
Yeah, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but yeah, they just kind of sweep things under the rug. And then he like does this fake out, which I got real scared, where he was saying that falling in love, that was a heat of the moment thing. And then he like pauses and he said, it's not true at all. I was like, oh no, here we go again. Another argument, but nope, he's already fallen in love.
Yeah, that's a little bit of what I was talking about before, was like, there's so much dude energy there with him, and it's like, don't do that.
Yeah, like, it's totally unnecessary.
Do not do that. Like, if you actually want a relationship to succeed, you don't hold somebody emotionally hostage like that. It's just terribly rude and horrible. And so I just still feel like neither of them really know how to handle their feelings constructively. That's what I keep coming back to.
I think that's pretty accurate.
I mean, we just keep on seeing it. And so, I mean, they're happy for now.
For now.
They love each other for now.
Let's hope that's enough.
But I can't promise that it is going to stay how it is now.
So next we see Kate and Hayden chatting. And the thing that really stood out to me in this segment was her tennis ball gift for Rambo.
Which she threw and made him go get.
I know, that was wild. She's like, fetch. Like, what?
Speaking of creepy. I also wanted to mention how, so Kate gave Logan a chance to sweep her off her feet, and he didn't take it. And so now it's Hayden's turn to sweep her off her feet.
I don't think he really did anything either.
Correct. It was cracking me up that she was basically like, yeah, like Logan had all day to sweep me off my feet and nothing. And then you go from that to making a grown man fetch a tennis ball like he's a terminally ill golden retriever.
What a strange thing that happened there.
Yeah, I didn't particularly appreciate that myself, but yeah. Let's keep on trucking.
So Eliza and Rodney chat, and he's basically just trying to fight for her. And they make out, and then she basically does the same thing with Justin.
Well, hold your roll here for a second, because I wanted to say, what was that apology for? Like, what are you doing, dude? You're like just falling into her trap.
He's trying to make up lost time, lost ground. Like, he thinks he's in the wrong because of how she behaved incorrectly. But
so I want to know, do you agree with me here? Because I saw last week's episodes and I thought that she was like totally manipulating them.
yeah.
Like just straight up, like.
Yes. But I don't think Rodney realized that, though.
It rubbed me very wrong, because it's like, it just seemed like she was really taking advantage of him with all the like making him feel terrible for all this stuff, when she was always just going to do exactly what she wanted to do and planned to do all along. And so she just like made him suffer for no reason, really for no purpose at all. Because do you really think that if he had been like, oh yeah, no, don't go, like, you screw Justin, like, no, like, do you think that would have changed anything?
No, because like we said last week, she had already said yes to Justin.
Allegedly, if the editing wasn't manipulated too much. But
yeah,
even still, like, man, it just...
She's got him like groveling, basically.
Yeah, it really rubbed me the wrong way, because then they have this conversation and he's just apologizing for all this stuff, and it's like, what? Why are you apologizing for this stuff that isn't your fault? Which is especially true if it is true that Eliza and Justin were talking before, because that was a rumor, right?
A rumor from the episode, or like from outside stuff?
I thought from outside stuff that there had
I'm
been
not
some rumor that they were talking.
I mean, it's certainly possible, but I don't remember hearing it.
I specifically remember you telling me, but I also have the memory of a goldfish, so it's entirely possible that was wrong. But yeah, I didn't like that. Did not like that, and especially when she just like is like, oh, and wraps up things with Rodney, and then immediately goes and makes out with Justin.
I know, that really did not look good.
Like, I have no trust for you whatsoever.
Back to back. And then like we see her like crying and overwhelmed, can't decide who to pick.
Don't you just hate it when you accidentally make out with multiple people and can't decide which one to send home?
I mean, maybe like if you'd spent more time like talking with them, we could have like, you know, gotten to know their character more. Maybe made a better decision than what followed.
Yeah, I didn't buy a lot of this stuff. It's a lot of this like alleged guilt and stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm very suspicious.
Yeah, it was kind of a lot.
Mm-hmm. And you know, we keep getting all these asides of people, because everybody loves Rodney. Everybody loves Rodney. And so, for example, we get Flo's weekly half a second per episode where she gets the chance to say that she just feels so bad for both Rodney and Justin. And then we won't see her again for the rest of the episode. Well, that's not true. She had a brief moment because the women had the roses. But beyond that, no. That has been her lot. I wonder how she feels about that. Because she has not gotten... I was going to say she has not gotten a sympathetic edit, but she really hasn't gotten an edit at all.
Very true.
I mean, she had her biggest moment of shining when she accepted the twin.
Yes, and when she licked, right? Licked the armpit?
It was either her or Shanae, one of them. I don't remember. It was terrifying and awful. Victoria thinks that it would be stupid not to pick Rodney.
Yeah, she made that very clear.
Yeah, she really emphasized that quite a bit.
So it is time for the rose ceremony.
Oh boy, 4 men going home.
So you see Genevieve giving hers to Aaron, Justenia to Andrew, Brittany to Tyler, Victoria to Johnny, Danielle to Michael. These are all.
Oh, shocker.
Serene to Brandon, Florence to Justin.
Yeah, well, the twin Justin.
Yes.
Which, I cannot believe the freaking twins survived a rose ceremony.
I know. And then Shanae gave her rose to the other twin, Joey, because there's nobody else.
So I'll be totally honest with you. I think that the producers made sure the twins got to stick around. And I say that because I think they really wanted the new blood. Like, really wanted that new blood. Things were getting too stale around here. And so we need to get rid of Jacob.
Oh. Yeah, that is a good point. I feel like I would rather see Jacob than the twins.
Yeah, even though he's ridiculous as well. But, yeah, I think, too, maybe at a certain point, you maybe have too much history on the beach for that season. So it's like after everything that Jacob has been up to, it's almost like the producers kind of need to get rid of him because they're like, well, we don't want to give him too much screen time. And then also, like, how are new people coming in going to really interface with that? It's like, well, yeah, Jacob's been here since day one, and he's dated everyone.
Yeah, he has served his purpose, basically.
And so
he had run out of storyline.
He must go. Goodbye. Were you surprised by any of this? Just the rose ceremony.
I mean, I was a little surprised Kate gave hers to Logan, considering all the money talk.
I think that she probably sees him as a means to an end because, yeah, the financial system may not be ideal that he has going on, but I think that we cannot underestimate how annoying that Hayden one-on-one was for her.
That is true. She did not really enjoy that date.
So if I had to guess what her thought process here was, I would guess, I really don't want to end up with poor Logan. But it's going to be really awful to put up with Hayden for a while. So I at least get along with Logan. Let me choose him. And then when there's another wealthy guy who comes in with a better personality, then I can move along. Is that too uncharitable?
No, I mean, that makes sense.
That's what popped into my brain when I saw that decision.
I also thought her speech to Logan, as she's like holding the rose in front of him, was like funny and also utterly ridiculous.
Tell us about it.
Well, she said, "There's something here, but I need more. Will you give that to me? Will you accept this rose?"
AKA, I'm going to really need you to step things up or I'm going to throw you into the ocean.
And he's just kind of like, I accept. Like,
yeah. I also thought her comment about the twins was hilarious as well. Because she said, "I'd sooner pick a woman than the twins."
the twins don't seem like real options to me. They just seem like they're just there.
Yeah, well, the twins' whole thing is always going to be like it's going to be difficult for them to get past the twin gimmick. And since they seem very invested in that and maintaining that gimmick, I just think that it's difficult to survive long term because nobody's going to take you seriously.
Yep.
Because, yeah, that gimmick is just not sustainable, in my personal opinion. Ugh, yeah.
So then after a lot of hemming and hawing,
Eliza,
Eliza,
so much. It's just like I was so irritated this episode with Eliza.
Yeah, same. She gives hers to Rodney, but as soon as she does it, she looks regretful. She like walks Justin out to the car, which is totally unheard of in Paradise. And so Hayden, Justin, Jacob, and Alex go home. And then Eliza spends a good chunk of time just agonizing with Justin at the SUV. Like, she's crying, upset, and to me this felt like she was the Bachelorette and this was like Hometowns or something, and she's letting a guy go.
Yeah, it
was a lot.
And it was so long. It just dragged on for what seemed like hours, which is so unfortunate because we got this great gift of only having one episode to watch this week, and then it felt like it was 4 hours. So I really...
You didn't gain anything, did you?
I gained some actual hours, but I lost some very real feeling mental ones. So that was tough for me. Because it only gets worse later, too. That dragged on and on and on as well. But in the meantime...
Yes, Justenia finds a date card.
Speaking of useless things.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this date because it was for Michael and Danielle.
There's just no point except this like self-gratifying thing that the producers are up to of like, oh, see, we have so much power. We can have anything happen. Oh, they'll have the best love story of all because we made it happen. That's what it feels like watching this.
Yeah, it feels very self-indulgent to me.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I thought it was real cringe when someone, I don't remember who it was, said Mom and Dad are going on a date.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was Brandon, but I don't remember. Yeah, so, we get it. The old people. Yay.
So they meet up with Wells because why not? I don't know.
Well, specifically the date card said something specifically about him being along with it. And I would assume because he actually knows Danielle. Like, they're friends.
Yeah. It's still strange. Because, like, they're riding horses around the town, and Wells is riding on a donkey, I guess. Just giving them tacos and hats and drinks. Just interrupting the whole time.
Well, it was all orchestrated. So it was like, okay, guys, this is your route. go here, and then he would just go to his predetermined stations. It's
just so corny.
It's hilarious and heartwarming. Come on.
I feel like Wells is not as funny as the producers think he is.
Wow.
This just didn't work for me.
See, I don't know if I agree with you. I think that he's relatively funny and has decent presence, but I think that the material they give him is awful.
Maybe that's a better description. Like that skit he did back.
Yeah, that was pretty
awful. I hated
awful.
that.
That was
like
that almost made me quit watching the franchise. You would have had to continue the podcast alone. I was very close. It's like, this is my future now.
So bad.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that they just feel this drive to get him out there, and I'm sure he's involved with that too, because I would imagine he makes money from more screen time. Theoretically,
yeah, maybe.
I don't know how his contract is structured, but if it's sort of like a union type production thing.
It's just the gimmicks they give him are just...
Yeah, it was a little weird that he's like having to ride his donkey breakneck pace through so that he can get to the next station where he can harass them, which Michael was getting a little irritated by that. Which is probably the funniest thing of the whole thing. Just like, he like always, Wells is super great. Like, just leave us alone.
But no, he then has to sit down with them, which this is the only part of it I liked. I feel like when he was just like talking to them like normally.
That's really the only thing he should have shown up for.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I talked about meeting his wife, Sarah, and then invited them to his wedding.
Well, she's invited to his wedding because she's good friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
Michael might be invited to the wedding.
Well, the wedding has already happened. And so you can go on the internet and find out whether or not
oh boy,
Michael was there or not.
Was he there?
Yes.
I mean, that should not be surprising to anybody.
No, of course not. Yep.
Sadly, Sierra was not. Yeah, it kind of felt like this date kind of felt like all of the stuff with Ashley and Jared or whatever their names are.
Oh.
Just like, why? Like, why are you taking up our valuable screen time with this? It's like they're so in love and they're going to live happily ever after with their traumas and they're going to help each other heal. Great. Like, next. Move on.
Yeah. Well, we can move on too.
Which that may sound kind of terrible, but from a Bachelor Nation kind of perspective, that seems like it's the case. Like, you really think that they're gonna break up? Like the producer favored one is really not gonna get his happy ending out of this?
No, of course not.
I mean, come on. They're not gonna take that from him.
No, they orchestrated all of this. They're going to see it through.
Uh-huh. Yep. They're probably even paid to stay together.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just wild speculation. I'm sure that's not true. They seem to authentically hit it off, or as authentically as these people can. But yeah, let's talk about body odor. I know.
We learn Alex.
Really, a classy twist here, a classy pivot to a new topic.
We learn Alex smells bad, which is disappointing to hear.
For you specifically? Or?
No, just in general.
Yeah, honestly, I did not. I wouldn't have anticipated that.
No, that was surprising to me.
As like somebody who's a bit on the older side, seems like on the wealthier side. I would have assumed that he'd smell immaculate, actually.
Yeah, did he not bring the right deodorant for the humidity in Mexico?
Oh, I love how you are legitimately analyzing this from a scientific perspective.
Well, we learned Logan smells like wet, dirty leather. I don't know. I can't really picture that odor in my head right now, but that doesn't sound good.
I would imagine bad. Very bad.
Justin and Joey smell like the woods. I guess that's not so bad.
Yeah. I wonder if this is also a moment our listener was speaking of being creepy. Because this was a little creepy as well. And
when they brought Tyler over.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't put this past Shanae because there's a 50-50 chance that Shanae was the one who licked the armpit. Since I can't remember.
I think it was Florence.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Shanae would have if she did. So I'm not surprised that Shanae is part of this conversation. I'm a little surprised that Brittany is part of this conversation.
Also, remember when Shanae was like mad at Brittany like 3 episodes ago, and now they're just like
magically friends?
Yeah.
Well, one of the great things about this show is that sometimes people magically become friends.
With no explanation.
No explanation, but would you really want to ruin the magic?
No.
No, I would. I want to know what happened. It's like...
Oh, from that perspective. Actually, yes, I would have liked to see the footage of that.
Christy has changed her mind.
Yes.
Whenever there's drama involved, Christy wants to know
exactly
what is happening. Yeah, so as you were mentioning, they lure Tyler over under the false pretenses of Brittany giving him a hug, and then she starts sniffing his armpits.
Shanae smells him too.
Ugh.
And they conclude he smells like a man.
Okay. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that information.
I think the end result is not horrible, so...
Yeah, I guess
that's a win.
Like, a man. So great. So...
The rest of this...
Yeah, we have to... I'm sorry, everyone. But we're about to go to a very dark place. Because the end of this episode is not for the faint of heart.
No, we see Rodney is feeling renewed and at peace.
Yep, he is so relieved.
Happy.
And he is so wrong.
Yeah, I mean, brutal.
Because here's the thing. The rose ceremony was his hurdle. In his mind, the rose ceremony is the hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
And so, after the rose ceremony is completed, and he is still on the beach...
What could go wrong?
It's all smooth sailing.
No more love triangles.
No more love triangles. All the love triangles are over. Nobody can walk down those stairs and ruin what they have. Little does he know that the person who walked up the stairs is going to ruin everything.
So we see Eliza in bed crying.
Yeah, just a lot of Eliza sobbing in bed, cut with optimistic Rodney footage.
I know, the editors are working overtime. Eliza thinks she maybe didn't make the right choice. She's like, it's a little late now. So she comes down to chat with Rodney, and her cast members notice that she kind of dodges.
Yeah, this was the beginning.
His kiss.
The beginning of the end here, because he goes in for a kiss and she dodges. for a
Cheek.
kiss on the cheek instead. That's bad news, everybody.
So they go off to chat on what ends up becoming a breakup bed.
Well, that's their fault for sitting down on the breakup bed.
Yeah, I mean, she knew it was going to be one. I guess he didn't.
No, and see, this is part of the episode that just felt like it went on forever. I mean, I even watched it at greater than 1 speed, and it still took forever. That's how long it was. It just went on and on. Like, just going through her whole convoluted reasoning of, like, how she's reached the conclusion that she's reached. Just say, I'm not into you. Goodbye.
I mean, that's literally all it would have taken. But no, we had to drag it and on. She doesn't want to pretend she doesn't have feelings for Justin. Thought she'd feel better in the morning. There was this hilarious little interlude where Andrew decides to take a peek and report back to the group with this thumbs down. So.
Yeah, going in a wrong direction.
So Eliza doesn't think she made the right decision for herself. She felt pressured. Because everyone loves Rodney so much.
Yeah, I want your perspective on this too, because it seemed weird to me that she kept saying very specifically that she made the wrong decision for her. Like,
I don't know if she's still referring to the fact that everyone loves Rodney, and so theoretically the right decision would have been to keep Rodney because he's like the better choice or something. But for her decision, or for herself, Justin was really the one she wanted.
Okay. I feel like that's a solid interpretation. See, this is why I keep you around.
Yeah, I just wish she had just picked Justin during the rose ceremony and saved everyone the headache.
Things really would have been so much simpler then, wouldn't they?
Because then Rodney would have at least understood, like, oh, okay, well, I got bested by him and I can move on. But no, she had to get his hopes up and give her rose to him and then yank it out from him the next morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but look, she had the best intentions.
I suppose.
I don't necessarily believe that she did, personally. But I won't get too much into that. I try not to take my tinfoil hat out, except for very infrequently. So I just gotta watch myself there. How did you think he handled it?
I mean, I don't think he handled it badly at all. I mean, he basically just said, like, wish you the best, just got up. I mean, there wasn't much really for him to say after that whole speech from her. It's like, well, you just kind of ruined everything. Like, he doesn't need to try and comfort her or anything. Like, she's the one dumping him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
kind of just went back to the group, which this was a whole scene as well.
You'd think he had gotten like the same news as Rambo or something. Like,
yeah, I wrote down like a cancer diagnosis or something. Like, everyone's crying.
I know,
it was very sad.
Yeah, his heart is broken,
and he feels embarrassed, which that's the worst part. Like, he shouldn't have to feel embarrassed.
I'm sure a lot of that had to do with the fact that he spent the entire morning super confident.
I know.
In telling everybody.
These producers are so evil, letting him do all that, knowing a storm is brewing.
Yeah, well, why would they stop?
No, they have no reason to.
More tears equal more dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I always tell myself when I cry. More tears equal more dollars. But that's not typically the case. I don't know if Eliza will be attending any Bachelor in Paradise reunion parties anytime soon.
Oh, she was there at the taping?
No, I'm not talking about the taping. I'm talking about cast hangouts themselves. Like, she just...
I think the girls probably still like her.
Really?
Do you see how they all went to comfort her after? They, like, sort of understood.
I don't know. It seems...
I mean, who knows what things are really like behind the scenes, but...
I don't know. She destroyed Rodney's heart. Everybody loves Rodney.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's enough of a ecosystem that they don't actually care. Like,
I mean,
whatever.
this also happened back in June, and it's now November, so...
Wow, you think they've all forgotten about that now?
Not forgotten, just time has passed, people have moved on.
Yeah, there are more important things in life, like Instagram sponsorships. Can't have too much bad blood. That would interfere.
That's true. You don't want to jeopardize that.
No.
So then we have this very strange sequence where we are now filming Eliza at the airport.
Well, you're not gonna say a final goodbye to Rodney as he leaves.
He's not dead.
I mean, we may never see him again. I mean, we'll probably see him next Paradise, but
I mean, he was an entertaining character. Everyone loves him, so I'm assuming he's a great guy.
I mean, I'd like to think he is, but I don't know if you can use that as the metric. I mean, maybe there's enough universal and unanimous like for him that is true.
I mean, how many other people exiting have had the whole cast crying when they leave?
You're probably right. I'm going to hope that he is as wonderful as he appears. I just love his smile, you know.
They really should have made him the Bachelor instead of Zach. Saw a lot of that last night, particularly since this was filmed in June and they didn't make their Bachelor announcement till September.
Yeah, well,
I mean, what excuse do they have?
You know, ABC loves a generic white dude bachelor.
Oh, that is true.
And no offense to Zach, I just always kind of thought he was boring.
He does seem boring.
Which is
unfortunate.
But also a huge positive for ABC. It's like a less muscular Clayton season. And we all know how that turned out.
I mean, that did give us some of the biggest mess we've seen.
Mm-hmm. At least he didn't have a blackface scandal. Not yet, anyways.
Let's hope not.
I don't know, have you heard any horrible things about Zach?
Nope.
Okay. Not yet, anyways. Off that tangent, back to the real world, surprisingly. The airport.
Eliza is flying to see Justin in Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm. Yeah, this was kind of weird to me.
Yeah, we don't normally see real world footage, especially before the season has even ended.
No, it's too important.
So we see her walking the streets of Baltimore and then knocking on Justin's door. He opens it, pretends to be surprised.
I know, what, like, huge shocker. He had no idea she was coming.
I mean,
he had no idea that a film crew was going to be at his house. They definitely hadn't set up all of their gear before that happened.
No, I mean, what if he had been at work and she had not?
I mean,
couldn't take that chance.
Well, it's more just that setting up film equipment takes time. So I'm convinced that they had all that stuff set up inside. So like we're next week we're gonna see footage of them inside the house.
Of course, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I guarantee you, total fake. Surprise.
It looked fake. We've seen Justin's actual like wide-eyed, like in the moment expressions. This looked like he was trying to act surprised.
Yeah. So that could potentially be interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we haven't really seen before, so
it would kind of be hilarious
it.
If he was like, yeah, so when I got back, this former flame messaged me and was like, hey, I've just been missing you, and like I realized she's my soulmate. That would be awful, but also kind of hilarious.
How long do we think between, like, did she actually leave Mexico then and literally fly to Baltimore?
So I think that she did leave Mexico then. I don't know if there was actually any delay. I feel like there had to have been a little bit of a delay just to like work everything out, like all the logistics and everything. I just think that probably took a little bit of time, but I really don't know. That's something you should ask Reality Steve, because I know him so personally and so well. I don't actually, but one day perhaps, and then we can get all the dirt directly.
No, he'll never give up sources.
Well, no, we're not going to get the sources. I'm just saying information that we would then have to keep secret. But it would still be worth it because I love me some dirt.
So that was basically the end of the episode. We saw the tag with Jacob in the limo, just taking his clothes off.
Well, because he wants to leave as he came in.
I mean,
just butt naked.
I feel like it was just such a fitting end for his character. It was like, oh, that makes sense, what he's doing.
Sometimes it just makes sense to not wear clothes.
I know. I figured you could relate to this.
Wow. I don't relate to any of these people. I'm just saying, theoretically, sometimes people just don't like wearing clothes. And that's a perfectly normal thing that I've heard some people like. Mm-hmm. So, Christy, what else you got for us? Is there any other gossip, dirt, terrible things happening in the community?
I don't think so. I feel like...
Besides the one thing that we're keeping under wraps for the moment. Or I guess... I feel like, didn't you spoil it on Instagram?
I linked to his Twitter account. So you know what we could do now is talk about it now since we're at the very end. Okay. And if people don't want to listen to it, they can...
Yes. We are going to spoil some stuff right now. So, actually, let me just give the kiss count first.
Oh, yes.
That way, people don't miss it if they're trying to avoid spoilers. That would be horrible.
Sounds good.
39. That's the total.
You know, that's a quite respectable number considering we spent a lot of this time crying of this episode. So.
Crying and kissing is how it goes. Yes. So now we are going to spoil some stuff. So if you don't like being spoiled, leave.
Yes, this is what happened at the reunion, according to Reality Steve. So I guess it's important to know that Johnny and Victoria supposedly get engaged at the end of this filming.
Which is a great ending. It sticks, right?
You know, that's what you would think would happen. But no, Johnny and Victoria broke up at some point, I guess late summer-ish. And so Greg Grippo and Victoria were spotted in Italy.
Greg Grippo, the moody actor
From Katie's season. Yes. And so at the reunion, Johnny said he and Victoria were in couples counseling for 3 weeks after filming. And then Victoria said Johnny called her a stupid word I'm not going to say on here. And she claimed he told her she didn't cook or clean, so what good was she as a woman? And so Johnny admitted he said things he shouldn't have, but he never called her that.
I will be honest, though, like, I feel like that's a weird bar to have, like, with a Bachelor contestant. Like, oh, I'm going to marry you. And, yeah, Victoria, you're going to cook and clean. Like, do you look at that face and think that's somebody that cooks and cleans?
Yeah, no. Victoria's an influencer. Like, why is that the thing yeah. And so he also said Victoria threw a wine glass at him and told him she was out of his league. So these two are just totally and completely toxic. So it's not surprising they broke up as quickly as they did.
Yeah, well, if that's the direction the relationship is going, then yeah, it's not surprising.
Yeah, and apparently Tyler was saying he heard that Victoria cheated. So that's the other thing we don't know, is whether or not Victoria actually cheated on Johnny with Greg. And so then it comes out Victoria and Greg were talking before they even went to Paradise, but supposedly nothing serious because he was dating somebody else at the time.
It's always nothing serious.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, we get all these pictures on Reddit of the people just, on some luxury cruise or something.
Yeah, Johnny found out through social media about the Italy trip, so I'm sure that was fun for him. And Victoria and Greg got matching tattoos while they were in Italy.
Another observation I have is, if I was on this show, I would not get a matching tattoo.
No. How are you going to get a matching tattoo when none of these relationships work out, basically?
I guess you hope you make enough off of your Instagram sponsorships to pay for the laser removal.
I suppose so. But
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so you were telling me, right, that Greg also, despite not being on this season at all, he showed up at the
taping. Yes, that's what I've heard. I mean, you kind of have to bring him there. It's not like she just started dating some random guy. She started dating a prominent Bachelor person.
I'm so glad they didn't make him the Bachelor.
Oh, that would have been a fun season, though.
Would it have? Because I feel like 95% of it would have just been him pouting in the corner by himself.
No, they're not going to let him do that.
Yeah, so there you have it. Lots of just juicy details.
That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, part of the reason why I wanted you to bring it up here is because I'm not convinced a ton of it is going to make the show.
Yeah, I'm wondering the name calling part of that'll be cut out.
Yeah, it just seems like it would be very heavily sanitized. And I'm not even just saying like the specific swear words or anything. It seems like the incident as a whole, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of brushed over it a lot, as much as possible, basically.
I mean, now that the info is out there and has been shared all over the internet, I feel like that almost makes it harder for them to just completely like wash over it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they'd still do that though. I mean, just look at this past season.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they'll do.
Because it was... I'm not crazy here, right? Like, it's hard to keep track because there are so many of them. But it was Eric who had the blackface scandal.
Yeah.
And so they, like, briefly brought up the whole, like, outside relationship thing. But that was it. So... yeah,
they have done it before. I don't know. It's
if they feel threatened in some way by this stuff going down, I'm sure they will do their best to minimize it as much as possible. So we'll see. But this information is out there now for all of you.
Yep,
you know what happened, and you still know what happens, whether they cut it all from the taping or they leave it in. But the truth is out there.
I mean, these tapings last several hours, so who knows what they will cut.
Yeah. I feel like attending one of those could simultaneously be very interesting, but also mind-numbingly boring.
Yeah, I've thought about that before. Like, man, that'd be cool to, like, see behind the scenes and see everything that's said. But then I've read accounts of people who do go, and it's like, yeah, we were there for 8 hours.
Yeah, and you just sort of, like, think about the possibility of going to the taping and just have to think through how many times you're going to have to go to the bathroom while you're there. Because it's going to be so long. Like, yeah, I'm going to have to pee 7 times because we're just going to be there for, like, 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a real just messy situation.
Incredibly messy.
And I honestly, I don't know if either of them comes out looking very good through that.
Yeah, I think they both, if they air all of what actually happened, they both look bad.
Yeah. So that's fun. I'm looking forward to seeing that when it happens. I don't even know how many more episodes we have.
4.
Going up to 16. Wow. So double Last Paradise. So we're getting to the end here. There's not much more time to forge those important connections and get engaged. So,
and somehow we still have people arriving next week, which is ridiculous.
I know, but they don't care.
No.
They don't care. The money keeps rolling in at levels that are acceptable. Then this is just the reality. So, Christy, how can people get in contact with us?
You can find us on Instagram or Twitter at groupdatespod.
Yeah, you've been posting a lot on Instagram, so Christy is just looking for engagement and loves seeing people's thoughts, and I love seeing that as well. It's real great.
Yeah,
to have a little bit of a community.
You can always DM us.
Oh yeah, just only real people, not bots.
I know the bots are listening right now.
I wouldn't put it past them. Send it to here to be promoted. No. No, I will not, bot. Is that it, Christy? Is that all you have for us?
Yep, I think so.
Excellent. Well, I guess we will see everyone for the last part of the Married at First Sight reunion. It's kind of crazy to think we've made it so far through both of these seasons.
So many episodes.
Yeah, things are starting to wind down and come to a close. So thanks for listening.